Howdy gamers, and today we're going to be taking a look at Quake III Arena for the Sega Dreamcast. I don't have a Sega Dreamcast. Wait, hold on. Apparently the game is also available on Steam, so I guess we can take a look at it there. For the most part nowadays, when someone wants to play a new online shooter, they usually go for three main options: Fortnite, Overwatch, and whatever new Call of Duty game Activision put out. I mean, that could be wrong. I don't play many online shooters nowadays. For all I know, the list should be Fortnite, Overwatch, and Conker.io. But for the sake of simplicity, I'm just going with the first three. And those three all have their own appeal that makes them stand out. Because with Fortnite, you have building mixed with a battle royale and V-Bucks. For Overwatch, you have variety in heroes, team-based gameplay, and some of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
You inbred dumbass.
And for Call of Duty, you have guns. Back in the day though, there weren't as many online shooters, and none were as popular and influential as Quake. And even though Quake was massively popular, this is a series where we go over the top 125 games of all time, and Quake is until number 65, because id Software looked at this and said, we can do a lot better, and they sure tried. But id Software looked at sure tried and went, okay, but for real this time, we can actually do better. And it ended up making the 116th best game of all time, Quake III Arena. Quake III Arena is a fast-paced movement-based shooter where if you stop moving, you will die. And it's important to know that if you die in Quake 3, you die in real life. So whatever you do, don't take your finger off that W key. And because of this, the movement system in Quake 3 is a really unique experience, especially when compared to more modern shooters, where nowadays, if you play a shooter, camping will be pretty beneficial. I mean, that's how you have your best shot at winning. It might not be fun, but hey, neither is collecting copies of Wii Party for the Wii, but you kind of just have to do it. Honestly, the great thing about Quake 3 though is that the most effective way to play is also the most fun, which, believe it or not, is good game design. Really, Quake 3's movement system is just awesome. There's hardly a single moment where you won't be moving around, and when you combine that with chaotic weapons and some pretty small but amazing maps, it's easy to see why people still love this game and still have tournaments for it to this day. But I guess the first place we should start when talking about Quake 3 though are the guns, because you can't have a first-person shooter without guns. Well, frick. The guns in Quake 3 are just perfect for this type of game. Instead of having a lack of creativity, id Software took time making their guns unique. And instead of basically all guns coming down to just being able to hit your target and then you're good with every gun, you have ones that all play different from each other, meaning if you want to be the best, you have to master all of them. When you spawn in Quake 3, you just start out with the gauntlet and the machine gun. The gauntlet isn't really a gun, and it's just a melee weapon that on average is a 2-shot, and the other weapon that you start out with is the machine gun, which is a hit scan weapon that honestly isn't that bad, and as long as you keep your distance from other players, you should be good. Of course, technically you can customize your game to start with whatever gun you want, but let's not get crazy here. I mean, what's next? Listening to music while driving? Turn it off! Turn it off! The best part though about the gun you start with, the machine gun, you don't start with any other gun, get this garbage off my screen, is that there's no other gun like the machine gun, which actually makes it feel unique. In fact, there aren't even any other hit scan weapons except for the shotgun, which is the exact opposite of the machine gun, where instead of doing small amounts of damage and best used from far away, it's best used close up and can even be a one-shot if you land all the pellets. Which honestly, it's hard to land a one-shot with it, and I should probably also mention that there's a low time to kill in Quake 3, which is what gives it its charm of being a fast-paced shooter. It's not like every gun in Quake 3 can one-shot though. There are only 2 other guns that can do that, one of which being the BFG-10K, which if you're not careful with it, you'll probably end up killing yourself. It fires a deadly rocket with a huge blast radius and is honestly OP from what I've seen, and to be honest, I haven't played a game with it because I think most people choose to leave it out of matches. And the other one-shot gun is one of the coolest, which is the Railgun, which will deal 100 damage no matter what, as long as you hit your target, with 100 being the health you spawn with, but you have to be extremely accurate. That means though if you do master this gun, you'll be amazing. It can only fire once every 1.5 seconds and will fire in a straight line. Although that 1.5 seconds is a great time to think about your mistakes, or breathe or something, but no one really wants to do either of those, so you'll need to make sure that you don't miss, because you'll be extremely vulnerable. And since you'll be vulnerable, that means you're probably going to want to stay far away with this gun, and then you can always switch guns if you miss to another long-ranged weapon, like the lightning gun. The lightning gun shoots a lightning beam at the targets, hitting them with bolts of lightning, and I'll be honest, using a thesaurus sounds really good right about now. Overall though, the lightning gun is really situational. If you're using it at close range, you'll definitely die, but it's a great option for long range as long as you're consistent with your aim. But if you're looking for a gun that's good for close range and long range, you can use the rocket launcher. Really though, it's not good for long range, more of medium range, so I guess that's another catchphrase I shouldn't use. But when I say it's good for medium and short range, I do really mean it, and honestly, other than that though, it's a pretty generic rocket launcher. If you've used a rocket launcher in Fortnite or literally every game ever made, this is just that, but id Software added the amazing feature of rocket jumps. Basically, just jump as you're shooting a rocket at the ground and you'll get boosted up in the air. Nowadays, it's nothing groundbreaking, but it was innovative for the time and adds some new movement options. You can use it to get up to higher areas quicker, or just get some high ground on your opponent. It still damages you, but it's not like there are a lot of other guns that damage you. Other than the rocket launcher and BFG 10K, the only other gun that damages you is the grenade launcher, and believe it or not, it shoots grenades. They explode after 2.5 seconds, and they do a lot of damage. They bounce around a lot though, so it's kind of hard to time your shots. But that's all the guns in Quake 3 except for the plasma gun, which is definitely one of my favorites. It's very similar to the machine gun, but it's not hit scan, and you definitely don't ever start with it. But instead of shooting bullets, it shoots small orbs of plasma at people, and to make up the fact that it's not hit scan, it does more damage and shoots pretty fast. And even though there was only 9 guns, they were all really different from each other, and they all served their own function. And it's not like it's just guns, there are also some items that you can find. Other than the generic ammo, you can find health pickups around the map. In Quake 3, you don't heal over time, you have to find health around the map, which isn't too hard. They heal you 25 or 50 HP, but they can only heal you up to a max of 100 health. If you want more health, you can always get the Mega Health, which is an item that will give you plus 100 health, but it maxes out at 200. What the frick?! And if you're ever over 100 health, you'll slowly lose health until you get back down to 100. This helps to keep one person from becoming too overpowered from getting too many items. There is a way to prevent taking as much damage though, and that's with armor. Armor absorbs 2/3 of the damage dealt, and you can have up to 200 armor overall. If you want even more health though, you're out of luck. Don't blame id Software though, blame Microsoft. Ever since they bought id Software, everything's gone downhill. My hands have been bleeding ever since and they won't stop. And I'm pretty sure Microsoft's to blame. Don't worry though, Microsoft didn't ruin everything. There are some other items like a personal teleporter and even some power-ups like temporarily increased speed. These really help to keep the game at a fast pace, and if you die, you drop everything you have. Even stuff like a damage buff or regen, which other players can then pick up, which helps from making one person too overpowered. Plus a lot of the power-ups like regen or damage buffs are time-based. But I still haven't mentioned the game mode yet. There's Deathmatch, Team Deathmatch, Tourney, and Capture the Flag. Overall, Capture the Flag is the most basic. It's just capture the flag, but it's made more fun by Quake 3's gameplay style. It really could be a lot better though. A lot of Quake 3's maps are small, so it doesn't really suit the capture the flag style of gameplay. And also you can capture flags even if your flag has been stolen, so this really is Quake 3's weakest game mode, but don't worry, I've already left it a bad review on Yelp. But on the other side of things, the strongest game mode is Deathmatch. This is where a lot of my whole 4 hours that I put into the game comes from. It's just normal deathmatch, but the maps in Quake 3 are just so well designed for this. They're all small and compact, meaning there's never a dull moment. There are a bit of bad spawns where you can spawn right next to a player and die, but that doesn't happen too much, and I never really cared that much when it even happened. These are just so fast paced and fun, and when you first get the game, I recommend hopping into some deathmatch immediately. But what if there was a version of deathmatch, but with teams? Team Deathmatch is basically just a generic team deathmatch. First to X amount of kills wins, but once again the smallish maps combined with the fast-paced gameplay makes this game mode so much fun. But what if you wanted to play multiplayer matches single player? Tourney mode is just a 1v1 tournament, and when you're not playing, you get to spectate the other people. It's really nothing too special, but it's still nice to have and can be a fun time. I like that there are so many different ways to play though, and on top of that there are so many maps. Honestly, all the maps are good. I don't really need to go into them. I mean, I don't have all day. I have better things to talk about, like whether there really is a nude code in Tomb Raider, and finding out how to unlock Taboo in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Oh, we'll find them! To quickly summarize the maps though, they're a lot smaller than the maps you'd find in games like Call of Duty, and this helps to keep with the pace of the game. They also aren't some generic 3-lane design either. They're all unique and you spawn randomly, not right by your teammates if you're playing a team-based game. It's nice that the maps complement the gameplay, but now it's time to get into the things I don't like. Example A, the Servo Menu. It really just hasn't aged all that well, and if you're a dumb baby gamer like me, it can be hard to actually find out what it means. I'll see a lobby that says it has a lot of people and then I'll actually join, and there'll only be 2 people in it. And then there's just all this stuff on the side and I don't know what any of it means. Also, it's really easy to join modded lobbies, which can be fun, but there isn't too clear of an indication as to what's a modded lobby. For the longest time, I literally thought that freeze tag was just a normal team deathmatch, which, don't get me wrong, freeze tag is a blast, but I had no idea. While I was writing this script, I was talking to Parasail about my experience with team deathmatch, and he got so confused I had to send him a picture of what was happening, only for him to tell me that I haven't played Team Deathmatch at all, and I was just playing a modded lobby the whole time. I get that it says freeze over on the side, and I don't know if this is the game's fault or if it's just been modded to heck that the mod lobbies appear as normal lobbies, but still. I honestly just thought the different colors on the side were some weird command thing, like in Minecraft with text signs. And even without that, I still think that the server list is really weird and outdated to use. But on top of all that, there's also the single player, which I get that the single player is supposed to be a good introduction to the game, but you know what's an even better introduction to the game? Actually playing the game. All you do from what I played were 1v1s against bots to see the different maps and guns, which is cool, but just playing the game is a more fun time and also helps to ease players in. And you can literally just play against bots in the multiplayer, so I don't see what the point of the single player mode is. And the worst part is, Quake 1 and 2 single players were a lot like Doom in the sense that they were actual single player experiences. Here this can be just knocked out really quickly, which is disappointing. And I want to play through it because apparently there's a really cool final boss, but I just can't be bothered to play through 21 more levels. It's just really unimpressive and isn't worth playing at all in my opinion. And my final problem with Quake III is one that just really breaks the deal for me, which is that there's just no reason for me to keep playing. When it comes to video games, there are 2 ways a game can get you to keep playing, with intrinsic or extrinsic motivation. And if a game is even better, it'll have both intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. But I know not everyone uses a dictionary to try and sound smart, so basically, extrinsic motivation is being motivated by rewards. Think gun camos in Call of Duty, or earning XP so you can level up. You actually have a reason to do what you're doing because you're getting stuff for it. On the other hand, intrinsic motivation is just doing stuff because it's fun, which some people are okay with. That's all they need to play a game. But not me, because I like complaining about stuff that shouldn't bother me. Really, it just boils down to in Quake 3, I have no motivation to play this game after I'm done with this review because gameplay alone isn't enough to get me to keep playing. I need extrinsic motivation. Some people do like that the game is wholly intrinsic. They say it makes it a true arcade shooter experience, and I'm sure it does, but it would just be nice if there was a level system and maybe some gun camos and skin unlocks. I'm not saying to lock gun unlocks behind a level system or something, I think that's kinda dumb, but personally, I just need extrinsic motivation to keep me interested. That was Quake 3, and if you don't need extrinsic motivation to enjoy or keep playing a game, I really recommend you give it a try. And honestly, to give it a score of 100, I would give it an 87 out of 100. The game is really great. The game modes are so much fun, the maps are amazing, and the guns and movement system are just on another level. And this is usually where I would give the game an award, but recently my printer broke, so I can't really do that, but that did get me thinking. My third biggest guilty pleasure is donating stuff. Third to supporting local businesses and doing volunteer work, but why not just donate Quake III Arena for the Sega Dreamcast and my broken printer to the next homeless guy I see? I'm sure whoever it is will really appreciate it. I guess I'll do that. So, until then, stay safe, and I love you guys.